Good morning. Welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. Today I have a card inspired by Sue Borner in the US. This lovely, beautiful, exploding box card fold, which is one of my favourites and I do quite frequently. And Sue had the great idea of using Friends Are Like Seashells for the lovely embellishment of this beautiful box. And then on the back there is the greeting to send, so you can write on your panel. It folds flat to fit in your standard envelope and post quite easily, and then you've got your greeting written on the back. Okay, so this card, I have done a lot of the stamping and the die cutting already for you. Here's my panel for the back of my card, which I do need to stamp on, and there should be another little white piece. Oh, I've lost it for my white piece for here. I will have to get that. This piece here is this lovely large die here, and I've already stamped. I die cut first in white, and then I've stamped. And to use these bits and pieces, I'm just going to fussy cut out these shells along here and retain some of that lovely edging to use within my card when I put my card together. Okay, just cutting along the lines, making the most of the work that's already been done for me to cut out my shells. All of the other shells that are in my box I actually fussy cut myself, just stamped them, and the colours are pale papaya, crumb cake, calypso coral, and then my card base is pool party, and then I'm going to stamp my greeting and the other bits of stamping I still have to do using mint macaron. I should have done this before I started, shouldn't I? Hello, anyone who's joining me this morning. It's lovely to see you, and I hope you get some great ideas from watching this card being created today. And just cut along there. So some of these bits definitely will be thrown out, but I will keep some. For example, all this bit to go on to the back wall of my card. There we are, almost done. And one more. That's that one. What have I got here? I better not get all my stuff confused, hadn't I? There's another one there. And then the last shell to cut out of my... So that bit's worth keeping, probably. That's a decent sort of a... So if I just trim off this edge, so it looks like it's... Here we go, that looks all right. And then this bit here, I will be keeping as well. I'll just smooth off a couple of these pieces that I've trimmed. Okay, there's that bit. And my last shell. This, excuse me, this stamp set, Friends Are Like Seashells, has lots and lots and lots. It has actually got 23 stamps in it. Lots of beautiful realistic images, so that when you actually stamp them, you don't actually have to do anything else. All the hard work is done there for you. Okay, so I've got, as you can see, my favourites are the large one, and I do love the sand dollars and the starfish. So I'll just pop all of those up there. I've also got some window sheet, which disappears into the... And I've got my 2 pieces of seaweed, and then my basic box here, which is scored at 11 and 15, and then 15, 11, 26. And no, I don't think I've got that right, actually. I can't remember. I think it might be 10 by 4 is my box. So 10, 14 and 10 is 24 and 4 is 28. That's right. 10 by 4 is my basic box. And I've scored all of there, and I've scored at 7 centimetres along the... So this card is basically half of your normal piece of cardstock, cut in half lengthwise, and then I'm going to chop out this little corner here. This is my tab sticking the box together. And then I'll cut each of these little flaps here. 1, 2, 3. And then I will fold along those score lines. And then, as with all my boxes and three-dimensional cards, I always use tear and tape. It's nice and strong, easy to use. So I'll put that on the flap. And then, as much as absolutely possible, always try and stick your projects together flat, because that way you know they'll fold flat. Okay, so there's my basic box. Now you have to choose which one is going to be the back and which one's going to be the front, and then fold those flaps down so I can see this one's going to be my back panel. And I have my piece here that I will stamp and attach to that there before I do anything else. So I'll just get my stamping mat out and a clean piece of paper. And the pieces I'm going to use are my greetings. There is Happy Birthday, my beautiful friend. That will be for the front. And this one says, you are unique and completely amazing. And also a bit of leafery, and there's some seaweed. Here it is, some sort of more seaweedy stuff. Okay, I'll just pop them away. I'll put my greeting in on first. Stamp that with mint macaron. So just move you out of the way. In the middle, you are unique and completely amazing. There we go. And while I've got my mint macaron out, I'll stamp. Now let's have a look, see what I've done on my card here. Oh, goodness. That wasn't intentional. So flip her over, go on the next side. Put my two leafy bits there. And then my other piece here that I already inadvertently stamped. I'll put a bit there. And then I'll stamp my you are unique and completely amazing again. Not upside down, Julia. There we go. Up a bit. Ta-da! Did it. Now while I've got my ink out, I really should stamp my front greeting. And as I said, I've lost my piece of cardstock for that, so I have to get another piece. So this piece here is 9.5 by 3 centimeters. I'll just go and get, here's a scrap I can use here. So on my trimmer, 9.5 by 3 centimeters. Oops. I wonder if you can see what I'm doing over here. I'm not sure whether my trimmer is in the camera or not. But I'm having a good go at it. There we go. Did it. So on this one, I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday, my beautiful friend. Over on the left to my beautiful friend. And on the right-hand side, some more of the seaweedy stuff, because I love how that looks. And this little one too. All overlapped, looking very watery. Okay, that's all the stamping done. Now it's back to the assembly and whatnot of the box. I'll just clean off my stamps there. Okay. So the first thing I'll stick on is this piece on the back of my card, covering up all of our errors there. Stick that on the back. That also gives the back of your card extra stability too, having that extra panel on the back. And then this one goes on the front flap, so I'll stick that together too. Ooh. Here we are, right here. There we go. Okay. And the next thing we need to do is to create a shelf to add all of these shells on. So as I said, my box is 10 by 4. So this piece of paper here has 10 centimetres in the middle and then an extra centimetre on each of the sides. So it's 12 centimetres, and I've scored it 1 centimetre in from each end. Okay, and again I'll use tear and tape because it's nice and strong. And I don't know whether I said, I am folding it in a Z fold because I actually find that a little bit more stabilising when I'm putting my box together for the shelf to be in a Z fold. So often, if I'd have thought this through, often when I make this shelf, because I know these sides are 4 centimetres each, I will make the tab half of that, meaning that should be 2 centimetres, because that way when I put it into my box it's a little bit easier. So obviously I didn't do that this time because I can just butt it up against the corner knowing that it'll be halfway. But today, seeing I've only got a 1 centimetre one, the important thing is as much as possible to try and keep it straight and level. Now I've just put that in very gently, and to actually glue it I'm going to fold it and then press. Okay, so that way I know that my box will still fold for postage. Okay, and I also know it's nice and straight. So that's probably the trickiest part about putting together an exploding box card. All right, now this one can go on the back of the card. And the other most amazing thing that you will definitely want to have when making one of these cards is mini glue dots. They are magical, absolutely magical. So I'm putting on my little seaweed at the back here and just using those mini glue dots there. Okay, and I'm using, actually I'll put a couple on the front, just putting mini glue dot right down the bottom there so that it's not seen, and this one can just peek up at the front there. And the window sheet is to create, this originally started years and years ago when I was making flowers in a box, and I originally used green cardstock for the stalks of the flowers, but then when I converted from flowers to butterflies, I then thought, well, I'll use window sheet because that's invisible and it will look like they're fluttering. So now I use it for everything, even flowers, when I make exploding box cards, because as I said, it has a little bit of mobility to it. It's sort of a bit bendier, a little bit more flexible than cardstock, and it just, the things boing and bounce around. It looks really great. And if you do use things like butterflies and dragonflies and things like that, it looks really cool. Really, really cool. Okay, so mini glue dots, best friends in the whole entire best world. Stick your window sheet straight onto the mini glue dot, lift it off, and the mini glue dot comes with it. And then add that to your shell. Okay, it's just stuck on the back of the shell, and then another mini glue dot on the other end. I'm not doing a very good job showing off these mini glue dots and how marvellous they are. And then you just poke that into the box on the shelf and stick it in. Now before I go any further, I'm going to make sure I've got my bits and pieces for the front of my box. So on the front of my box I've got a sand dollar, this big shell, and a starfish. I've got this little dude up here, so I'll use a little Stampin' Dimensional for him there. He's going to cover that little mistake I made there. On the back, what have we got on the back? Just a sand dollar, so put sand dollar on the back. and covering up all the edges of my stamping there. Okay, so that's that and that's that. Now I'll stick these guys on. I wonder what the name of this shell is. I'm sure some smart person will know. So I'm just going to pop that down there, and my sand dollar. Beside it, and my starfish on a dimensional in front. Okay, here we go. So now I know everything else can go in the box, and it's probably, I really went crazy with the stamping. Probably easier if I put the largest ones in first and then work my way down to the smallest. A bit like filling a bucket. If you put the rocks in first and then the pebbles and the sand will fall around it, you will fit more in if you put the bigger guys in first. And because these ones are so big, I really actually don't need to use window sheet to stick it on, because it will fit half on the shelf of my box. So I'm just going to put a bit of snail there and stick that on there. And then this one I might put on the back wall up the other way. So put my snail, because it's on the back wall, I don't need to worry about it too much. There we are. What else have I got? This big dude. This one actually, I'm going to put my seal on the front of it, because I'll stick that down in the front of my box there. Okay, where will I put this other big boy? I think I'll put it the other way around, still on the front, so you see the other type of stamping. Now, as I'm going, I'll just check. Yep, it's all doing pretty good. I've only got a little bit of overlap, so it should still fit in the envelope. So that is an important consideration. Okay, now all of these dudes I can put onto window sheet strips. Move over there. Push my window sheet onto my mini glue dot. It usually comes off with it, except when I'm making a video and it's misbehaving. Sorry if I put my head in there. Okay, now pop you up here. Again, window sheet. And I might not end up using all of these shells today in my box, because I really went to town stamping and obviously had a free minute sometime or other, fussy cutting them all out, which is actually quite therapeutic really, fussy cutting. So that one goes up there. I think I need one over here. It's a bit like flower arranging, isn't it? You look at your vase and go, what do I need where? Which part of the flower do I want to show off? Which colour will work in that corner? So you could adapt this for lots and lots of different projects. In fact, if you want to place an order with me this month, I can give you a tutorial of this particular card fold and lots of great ideas showing you how to use it, and a step-by-step tutorial with photos on how to put it together. Okay, it's looking good. This one I'm going to put on the back wall, just with the dimensional over here. Do I need to put any more in? Maybe one over there. This one over here. Yep, that's one. Over here. There we go. How's that looking? It looks like a box full of shells. Hey, I don't think I need any more. When I did this at class, a couple of people put a couple of shells on the other arms too. So I might just add another one on the front over this side, because I've got these extra shells. This one down here. Too lazy to use my seal. So I'm just using the mini glue dots because they're here. And this one over here. There we are. I'm done. I've used up all the shells and it folds nicely to fit into my envelope. And doesn't it look beautiful? Happy birthday to my beautiful friend. So if you're my beautiful friend, you might expect this one in the letterbox for you. I hope you enjoyed that and I hope you'll give it a go. And if you're interested in purchasing the tutorial, just place an order with me at handmadebyjuliaquinn.stampin' up and I can post that to you in your email inbox. Bye-bye now. See ya.